It's got to hurt the big manufacturers when someone talks about electric dirt bikes, then it's brands like Stark and Suron that come to the fore, rather than mainstream bike makers like Honda, Yamaha or KTM. That's despite Yamaha leading the way in electric two-wheelers with its bicycle range and trials bike, KTM offering the Freeride E for years and a range of kids' electric bikes, and Honda dominating electric road racing with its Mugen machines. To draw parallels with the car world, lots of manufacturers now make electric cars, but it's Tesla that leads in the hearts and minds of most consumers. That's despite the American firm now being outsold by Chinese brand BYD. That's the world's biggest selling electric vehicle brand, with its battery production being subsidised by the Chinese government. And with the battery itself costing up to 40% of the car's cost, that's a big deal. No wonder Joe Biden of the USA slaps 27.5% import tax on them in a bid to help the US car industry stay competitive. Well, now it seems that Honda is finally preparing to launch its electric CR motocross bike to the buying public. It's always been branded a prototype, but at the opening eExplorer World Cup in Japan last week, it was wheeled out with 2025 emblazoned on the number plates. Now, with 25 model year bikes usually going on sale from late summer onwards, that means these bikes could be heading to dealers this year, as they look very much like production ready rather than prototypes or factory tweaked race machines. And of course, we all love the sound and smells of petrol-powered bikes, and no whiny electric machine could ever truly replace that. But with the increasing pressure from greens over emission and noise, it's obvious that cleaner power is in everyone's future, like it or not. Now, whether that's a long-term future with lithium-ion powered bikes like the current crop, that remains to be seen. There's a lot of buzz in the industry about sodium battery technology, which is much safer and doesn't require sending children in the third world countries into mines to retrieve what's needed for the batteries that are then shipped around the world in boats or planes. Hardly eco-friendly. Maybe hydrogen will eventually power internal combustion engines and make them clean. But at the moment, it's lithium-ion batteries that look set to form the first crop of serious dirt bikes good enough to race. So to Honda, where in the world of road racing, its sister company Mugen has led the way with its Isle of Man TT winning bikes in the e-bike class, of course, not against modern superbikes. But piloted by top TT racers like John McGuinness and Guy Martin, these bikes lap as fast as proper 250cc two-stroke race bikes of not too long ago. They are seriously quick. And it was Mugen that led the move into dirt bikes with the frankly super ugly E-Rex project, which you may spot has a Honda sticker on the side. That's if you can bear to look at it. Now, if you didn't know, Mugen was set up by the son of Honda's founder, Soichiro Honda, as a development arm to work on future technology. And Mugen actually started in motocross. That first 2018 E-Rex had comedy value, of course, but the second iteration was much more refined and the tech had completely changed. So much so that at the 2020 Tokyo Motorcycle in Japan, Honda took the wraps of a brand new electric-powered CR motocross bike, and Mugen also revealed its own, more radically styled bike that uses the same motor and running gear as the CR. Rather than the full dinosaur look, the Honda prototype bike looks much more production ready, as it had a CRF-style aluminium beam frame and shower suspension. The bodywork and dummy fuel tank was also built to look as much like a conventional bike as possible. Now, while the Honda version had lots of racy carbon fibre, the Mugen one used more conventional plastics and battery covers. And now the CR electric bike is being shown and raced in its third iteration since its beginnings as a prototype. It still uses largely the same motor and water cooling system from the 2020 bike from Tokyo, but the frame is new, with a subframe that mounts on lower at the bottom. This bike has now been race tested for at least a couple of years, including by Trey Canard in the Japanese Championship, where he pulled hole shots and almost took the win until he was wiped out making a pass for the lead. On a 450, of course. Make no bones about it, this latest bike is as close to production as possible. From its stealthy cockpit with production-style switchgear based on the CRF range, the CR Electric uses as much conventional tech as possible. There's no point in reinventing the wheel, and it gives potential buyers confidence when buying a bike that looks like a CRF. It forms part of Honda's critical mission to pursue carbon neutrality in the area of motorsports. Honda's already been conducting research and development of technologies for carbon neutrality in motorsports all around the world. And from now on, Honda says it will put these technologies into practical use in racing activities, starting with motorcycles. And when Honda says it will do something, it usually sees it through. Like when he said it would stop making two-strokes back in 2007, and there hasn't been a two-stroke motocross bike since. Of course, there are still issues with electric machines like range, charging time, and the cost of the bikes themselves. The 4 Japanese manufacturers are studying the standardisation of replaceable batteries in a bid to drive technology and economies of scale, and to counterattack the Chinese manufacturers, of course. And as for racing, in the UK at least, electric motocross bikes now can run in MX2 and MX1 classes. The MX2 class allows bikes up to 48 horsepower or 36 kilowatts, and MX1 up to 60 horsepower or 45 kilowatts. These are both figures measured at the Motor Test Port, says the rules. But there's no information on how these figures were arrived at or how organisers will be able to test these at races, and clubs may specify capacity restrictions for championships within their own events. Whatever happens, we're at the start of a new chapter in motocross, and now Honda is getting ready to join in the electric bike movements. It's definitely getting serious. We've seen Stark and the Honda prototype beat full-on 450 race bikes and consistently get better starts. The riders say they're easier to go fast on, and if you can afford one, and of course there's no word yet on how much these CRs will cost, then there could be an electric CR in your future sooner rather than later. Just remember to budget for the fuel for that petrol-powered generator to charge it up at race events.